Once upon a time, there were 3 valiant heroes, chosen by a magical artifact called the Trine. You may have heard another tale of how they met. Let me tell you a story of their latest adventure. Something mysterious and magical was taking place in the forest. First of the 3 heroes was Amadeus, a wizard. Not perhaps the bravest or the most powerful, but he was clever and sensible. Then there was Pontius the knight, fearless protector of the realm, who loved good food, drink, and battle. Last but not least was Zoya, a thief.
An entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. She was mysterious and only seen as a passing shadow on a cloudy night. Amadeus the wizard was asleep in his cottage. It was a place where he could study his fireball spell, hidden from the scornful eye of his wife.
Turn it off! I'm sleeping here! What is it? Who's there? How very strange.
The path ahead was blocked, but this wouldn't stop the great wizard Amadeus. With his magic, he could lift objects. Amadeus could also conjure boxes out of thin air. The light moved through the forest, leading Amadeus further. Torn between fear and wonder, he followed.
I demand to know what's happening. The Trine. Not this again. Pontius!
Amadeus, get your things! We need to save the kingdom!
What? Oh, this won't do at all, Pontius. I've children waiting for me to come home. I can't leave.
But your magics are needed. The kingdom is in danger.
Will this nightmare ever be over?
Despite his reluctance, Amadeus knew that the heroes were needed once more.
How did you end up here?
Let me tell you.
Pontius had headed out that evening, for there was trouble on the peasant farms. Creeping vines were taking over the fields.
A warlock must be behind this devilry. I'll find him and teach him a lesson with my sword. With luck, there'll be pumpkin pie for dinner tonight.
Pontius searched the farm, but saw no one there.
The nasties must have fled at the sight of me. Oh, that looks dangerous. Blasted weeds. I'll show you what for. I'm Pontius the Brave, and I won't fall in a battle with dandelions. The Trine!
Pontius had never understood what exactly the Trine did, but he knew that the artifact was there to help, and so Pontius felt happy. He couldn't think of a better quest than saving his kingdom. Late that night, Zoya was concealed in the shadows, hidden from the shimmering moonlight. Zoya passed through the town as quietly as a whisper. Then she saw a glimmering light moving on top of the old church.
The Trine. How inconvenient.
What are you doing here in the middle of the night? Not back to your old tricks and thievery.
Oh, there's a perfectly good explanation for this. Tell me, where are we going?
We don't really know yet. Something strange is going on.
A new venture. Shall we go then?
So the Trine had come for the heroes, and the adventure was ready to begin. Amadeus worried for his family, while Pontius looked forward to their new quest. Zoya, of course, imagined what fabulous treasure they might find.
Let the adventure begin!
Where are we? Where did the Trine bring us?
Let's take a look around to find out.
This water is really powerful. I ought to see if it works on potatoes as well.
Intruders! Do you think we'll have to fight them? Get your pocky stick. We cooked the big fat one. Attack!
Goblins! Charge!
Is this what we're here for? Slaying goblins?
A simple, straightforward quest. I like it.
I don't.
It's a nursery rhyme. My sister is beautiful, charming and bold. I love her so much, we are 8 years old. That's a fun-looking rock.
Why, it's a huge snail, enjoying a shower. There she goes. She has a healthy appetite, that one. What's that?
Whatever it was, I'm glad it went the other way.
the wind blowing?
No, it's the air coming from those pipes. What a jolly looking place. Look at the size of that thing.
It's monstrous!
Gargantuan snakes and giant snails. Whatever next?
Huge grilled pork, I hope.
Who are these strange people? I better keep my eye on them.
The Trine had brought our heroes to a strange forest, where they had encountered goblins and enormous creatures. After facing the perils of the forlorn ruins, they came to a great big steaming swamp. However, they were unaware that someone was now following their journey with great interest.
I wonder what goblins eat.
They eat people, like you.
Oh dear.
happy little frog.
My sandals got all slimy.
My sister and I have a secret to hold. I love her so much. We are 8 years old.
Whatever happened to that magic talisman that allowed us to breathe underwater?
I think someone did.
We've spent a whole day in this mud.
Ugh, and it shows on my hemline.
Hello?
That flower spoke.
Nonsense. Flowers don't talk.
Can you please help me?
Of course, Lady Flower.
Find my sister on the other side of this swamp.
Are we looking for another flower?
Don't worry, Lady Flower. Let's go.
The heroes had found themselves in a magical forest. Pontius had been quite taken by the ladylike flower they had encountered. Amadeus thought the matter with the flower was some kind of an enchanted practical joke. Zoya didn't think this or that about the flower. We'll wait and see, she pondered.
That flower should have told us more.
Easy. We find her sister.
Yes. Let's interrogate all the flowers in the forest.
Something smells wrong.
That gas cloud, it reeks of death. Better stay away from it.
My sister is gifted with magic divine. Tomorrow we both will be turning 9.
Magic water. Maybe we'll get giant strawberries.
I wonder how the water does that.
Is this why the snails and frogs are so big around here?
one huge goblin.
Insects, come to me. I crush your bones and make your flesh. That's it.
They killed the Bone Crusher. But how will they deal with the witch?
Gas. I hope we can get through safely.
What's this contraption?
Darkness enveloped the marshlands as the night fell. Suddenly, a familiar light appeared, illuminating the path.
Where now?
A great big tree house.
More like a tree castle. And the Trine wants us to go in.
The Trine could take us to a nice beach for a change.
Let's go inside.
The torches in the treehouse flickered nervously as the heroes stepped inside. It seemed unlikely that the house belonged to a flower, even a clever talking one. But the warmth indoors was a welcome change after a day in the mire.
This is obviously the home of a witch. They don't like wizards.
A witch, you say?
There's a stew.
Dear Izzy, put this locket on and follow me through the mirrors. Let's slip out tonight. Happy birthday. Thank you for the roses, Rosabelle.
That mirror seems unusual. Zoya, can you shoot at it? Look! That portal is moving. They say witches eat babies.
Good thing you're not a baby.
Don't worry, I'll protect you, Amadeus.
My sister is special, so kind and so fine. Tomorrow I too will be turning 9. Whoever lived in the house, a sinister, threatening mood hung in the air like damp mist in the swamplands. The heroic 3 had made their way through the traps and terrors of the strange treehouse, only to be stopped now by the most terrifying of creatures, a dragon.
Finally, a worthy adversary.
Why isn't it attacking?
What? Where did it go?
It was an illusion, Pontius. It wasn't real. It just looked like a dragon.
Some guard dog.
It looked frighteningly accurate. I hope we never run into whoever it was imitating. making monsters now.
My sister is so clever, her wit like a spark, but I worry for her as her mood gets dark.
For the locket, Rosie. What fun we had. Let's do that again next year. Happy birthday, darling. I love you, Isabel.
This place is littered with letters between these women. I don't think we're looking for flowers anymore.
Welcome, strangers. You came through all the traps I laid out for the goblins. I am Queen Rosabelle. I was ruler of these lands, once.
What do you know about these goblins?
Goblins took over my realm many years ago, after the forest became wild and the kingdom was destroyed.
Lady Queen, do you know anything about a speaking flower?
Or do you know why plants would keep growing wildly?
I can tell you more, but first I require your assistance. Out there is a castle by the sea, the house of my fathers, where now the king of goblins sits, befouling their halls. Slay him and I will reveal all. You can keep any treasure you find in the castle.
Wasting no time, Pontius accepted Rosabelle's offer for dinner. While their hostess retired for the night, the heroes gathered their strength. Soon they left the eerie house. The hour was late, but the quest urged them on.
It's better to travel on a full stomach. What a fine lady this Rosabelle is.
I thought she was rather beautiful. For an older woman.
More so than your wife?
She must be sick with worry. Or very angry. Probably both.
What sort of flower is that?
Not a daisy.
Something is very wrong with this forest.
Tiny lights!
Haven't you seen fireflies before? They're attracted to light. I don't feel right.
You should have eaten more than an apple for dinner.
No, it's this forest. It's somehow dark.
That's because it's way past midnight.
sister is silly, insipid and dim, yet everyone still loves this golden girl prim.
That pit is full of those monster plants.
Close your eyes and imagine they're hyacinths.
Dear Izzy, happy birthday and thank you for the roses. I went to bed early. You've so many dancing partners to choose from. I think your feet will be quite sore tomorrow. Rosabelle.
This must be the cave Rosabelle mentioned. It should lead us to the castle.
As the heroes moved beyond the dark grove, their hearts felt uplifted. According to Rosabelle, the swiftest way to the castle went through the cavernous tunnels. The path led down to the underbelly of the forest.
Oh, you haven't encountered any more of those talking flowers? I guess we were meant to find Rosabelle.
Uh-huh.
This passage was found by Rosie and me. Proceed down with caution, it gets slippery.
This statue looks a little like Amadeus's wife when she gets cross.
Oh, I think you're right.
What do these creatures eat?
There must be something in the water here. Or maybe it's in the soil.
Can't wait to find out what.
Rosie. I'm so sorry I didn't notice you leaving the party. Happy 16th, my love. Let's go to the forest tomorrow through the secret cavern. Isabel.
Their demise now seeming certain, the heroes fell through the cold darkness of the caverns. Total blackness enveloped them like the jaws of some indescribable monster. Where was the Trine now?
There's something in that cave.
And it's not rainbows and unicorns.
Where the waters fall, my darling, let's rest. Sleep here by my side. I still love you best. While in the caverns, Pontius had picked up some mushrooms, but Zoya and Amadeus persuaded him not to eat them. Amadeus recalled a time when he had made a mushroom potion in his school days. Indeed, that had not ended well. As the heroes climbed out of the caverns, they met with the first light of morning.
A beautiful dawn.
Rosabel's castle shouldn't be far now.
There's some huge, hairy fruit up in those trees.
They're called coconuts.
So there's some huge, hairy nuts.
No, they're fruit.
Should they be called cocoa fruit, then?
I don't know. Oh, is this quite safe?
My sister is sweet, while I am unseen. But she is not strong. I should be queen.
This is going to require timing.
Dreadful weather. Birthday celebrations were lavish. Sadly, they were disrupted by Princess Rosabelle, who felt she had been slighted by her gifts. Princess Isabel received a golden gown, a diamond tiara, and a pair of silk gloves. Princess Rosabelle received a silver gown, a moonstone necklace, and a pair of lace gloves. Did you know that the octopus has 3 hearts? Hey, that's just like us. Thank you, Mr. Octopus. It's Lady Rosabelle.
Well, well, she wasn't lying about being queen.
Zoya, a noble lady like her wouldn't tell lies.
Uh-huh.
Some action!
Crush them! Useless minions! Face the might of Goblin King!
Leave this castle or face my hammer!
Yes, you!
Treasure at last! I'll keep his crown if you don't mind.
Hurrah! We've cleared the halls for Her Majesty!
And our own kingdom will soon be safe. Shall we head back to the house?
Not so quick. I want to take a look around first.
Oh, must we?
Look, this is Isabel. It's got her name on it.
Yes, Rosabel's sister. The one who used to own the portal locket.
So where is she now?
Dear Isabel, happy 18th. Congratulations also for becoming the crown princess and heir to the throne. To celebrate, I have a surprise in the cellars. It's a big secret. Tell no one. Go through the laundry room. I'll meet you there, Rosabel. The artifact of souls. It's imbued with great power. I could use it to bring you back and restore the kingdom.
Come on, let's follow it.
After the battle with the Goblin King, the heroes searched the castle. They found strange clues hinting of another princess. It seemed that Isabel and Rosabel had been close once, but what had happened to them? Despite Amadeus's reluctance, Zoya led them to the cellars to uncover secrets left in the dark.
We'll take a quick look around and then come back to the surface path, right? Run for your lives! What an holy nightmare is this! Trine! Come back and take me home! I can't take this anymore!
It's probably just a little bitty part of a giant crab.
Little? This? You're not helping. And now acid?
It won't eat through my shield. I just had it acid-proofed at the smithy last week.
My sister is lost. The night has begun. Only one can be queen when all's said and done.
Looks like another job for the wizard.
Let's go and try it out.
Dear Rosie, happy 18th. I was as surprised as you are by the announcement. We should talk, Isabel.
Hunting for long-lost treasure in a sewer filled with these things. This looks like one of Rosabel's mirrors.
Rosie, where are you?
Isabel?
Lady Princess, come back!
Let's follow her.
While trying to save their kingdom, the heroes had been drawn into a tangle of intrigue and mystery. Following the elusive shadow of Isabel, the heroes stepped through Rosabel's mirror. As they passed through the portal, they felt a freezing cold touch, leaving them chilled to the bone.
I'm so grateful that you've slain the Goblin King. Now, please, hand over the Trine.
We can't do that even if we wanted to. It's bound to us.
I see.
Where is your sister?
Poor Isabel. I'm afraid her magic has cursed the forest. But if you give me the artifact, we can remove the enchantment for good.
No, we'll come with you and face her together.
I'm afraid I can't allow that.
And now we're trapped.
Well, what have we here? The goblin-hating adventurers locked up in our dungeons. You'll never get out, not while I have you in my sight.
Then let's get out of his sight.
Where did they go?
We need to get out of this place, wherever we are.
Yes, and find out what's going on with Rosabel and her sister.
This Isabel makes the trees and plants grow back home. Why would she do that?
Maybe she's a wicked, cackling witch gone mad.
But it's Rosabel who took her and locked her up somewhere.
But princesses ought to be nice and lovely, not tearing each other's hair or destroying kingdoms over crowns.
started all over again.
Thick ice. My captain's no good here.
Summer is gone with all its roses, its sun and sights of sweetest flowers, its foliage and July showers, and now the autumn closes. Soon autumn's windy days are going, and darker days are ever colder, each day dimmer as time grows older, but spring waits in the earth, unknowing.
Dear Isabel, it's best for us both if you stay here for a while. I intend to be queen. I'm much better at it. Don't try to escape. You will be cared for during your stay. Rosabelle.
As the heroes read the letter, the kingdom's fate suddenly made sense. Rosabelle had taken Isabel's place as the crown princess, but something had gone wrong, and their kingdom had ended up in ruins and overtaken by goblins.
That sorceress! She'll meet the end of my sword if she dares show her face again.
This icy slope will be the death of us. Path stops here.
And it's a long way down.
How am I going to get away? Help me, little tree. Grow your branches long and strong so I may pass.
Isabel? She made the tree grow.
As if by magic.
The heroes had discovered that Isabel was indeed Rosabelle's sister. The journey back to Rosabelle's house took the trio down the side of a mountain and through the perilous haunted forests. Now their progress was made swifter, for it seemed as if the whole forest had come alive to help them get back safely. Hoping to catch Rosabelle off guard, they made their way to a balcony high atop the Petrified Tree. From the highest tower of conquest my victories are thrown, and grief and pain are my hopes, since all the world is gone. Flow, tears, from your springs, my failures ever let me mourn. Where nighttime bird in darkness sings, there let me live forlorn.
It's kind of sad. They look so happy together.
Wait! There's something behind this picture. Look here.
Princess Isabel!
Your saviours are here!
Your Majesty, wake up!
Can you hear us?
Are you hurt, Princess?
We'll free you in a moment.
The heroes yelled and called for the princess, but she did not stir from her death-like slumber.
She can't hear us. She seems unconscious. Of course, the enchanted sleep spell. It's almost irreversible.
You shouldn't be here. So, the artifact of souls is bound to you three. I wonder what happens to it when you all die.
The artifact will never help you.
You'll never get away with this, whatever your crooked plan is.
Silence, you rabble! I didn't intend for the forest to steal Isabel's powers. But with your artifact, I can bring order back to this land. First, I need to get rid of you three. Let me introduce you to my little pet.
What's hurting it?
Aim for the earrings!
My warmest regards. Oh, you're only delaying the inevitable.
Will not go unpunished! You betrayed your sister to become queen!
And I would have stayed queen if the forest hadn't stolen her powers. Tread these peasants' death is not a routine. Creatures of the night, heed my call. Deal with this rabble. You think you could injure my pet? His will is bound to my will. His strength to my strength. Go now and run them through.
Vines holding the sleeping princess began to untangle and withdraw.
What is happening? Am I alive? Rosie!
The amazed heroes saw Rosabelle fall down into the underground lake. Isabel dived after the sinking shadow of Rosabelle. After a moment, Isabel returned carrying her sister.
Thank you for freeing me, heroes.
Pleased to meet you, Lady Princess.
If only the circumstances could be more cheerful.
Rosie, she was always very stubborn.
Can we get you anything? A towel?
I just want to go home.
I'm afraid your castle lies in ruins.
Not to mention you've some grave issues with your plumbing.
How are we going to get out of here? The portals are all gone now.
Just then, the Trine appeared and shed its golden light around the cavern. The light grew warmer and brighter, wrapping everyone with an invisible blanket of comfort and safety. The cavernous tunnel vanished from their sight. The Trine brought our heroes back to the very forest where the wizard and the knight had met at the beginning of the journey.
We did what we set out to do. Our kingdom is safe. and the forest has turned back to normal.
How did we do that?
It was Isabel's magic that affected the forest. Now that she's free, the balance has been restored.
No. I forgot to bring that magic water with me for the potatoes.
Here, I have a whole skinful of magic water.
Zoya, you're a decent sort after all.
It'll cost you 5 gold.
What? You already got a crown today?
The 3 heroes spent the night talking of the great adventure before they headed back home. So the princess and the pumpkins had been rescued, and the great adventure drew to a close.
The end? You wish. We've got a surprise. Ho, goblins are afoot.
On a dark and fateful night, sinister figures stirred in the woods surrounding Amadeus's cottage.
No sign of that thrice-darned husband anywhere.
Those no-good heroes won't mess up our plans this time.
Let me tell you a little story that reveals more about the goblins we last encountered in the wilderness. As the goblins were doing their dark work, our 3 valiant heroes were returning home from their quest. Amadeus, Pontius, and Zoya, heroes of the Trine, had come back at last after a long journey across distant lands. Lanterns and decorations had been put up all over the town in celebration for the heroes' homecoming. They stopped in the tavern to enjoy the warmth of the fire and hear the latest news. And Pontius, of course, looked forward to having a huge feast.
Barkeep, the champions return, and they are thirsty.
I'd better head home to Margaret. I don't want more trouble. I've had my share of dragons.
It's very quiet here. Where is everyone?
I have this feeling like we've forgotten something.
Let's see. We rescued the princess. We rescued the pumpkins. Goblins! Goblins at the walls! Hide your children!
Never a dull moment.
And I thought I'd have a nice cup of tea and a change of clothes. The Trine. Where's it going?
Let's make haste. There must be more goblins at the walls.
Come to Penny's Bakery for all things sweet and savoury. Try the steak and kidney pie. Our apple tart will make you sigh.
Can you hear something approaching?
I really want bacon.
Too hot.
Maybe we should find Lady Margaret first, before we go and kick them goblins out.
Never mind her right now. I'm sure she'll just breathe fire on anyone who even looks at her the wrong way.
I agree. Let's deal with these goblins first.
Right there, and listen. We has the Margaret.
What?
Annabeth! Is that you?
Margaret?
Oh, where in the devil have you been? Sort this out immediately!
The Wyvern will take care of you now. You're in for a little ride.
Oh, now I get it. You're staging a false kidnapping to get off the hook for disappearing.
And remember, don't come back, or the woman gets it. Have a nice trip to wherever, and somebody make her stay quiet.
Outsmarted by Wheeze the Goblin, the trio was flown away to distant lands by a terrifying wyvern beast.
Where are they taking her?
The wicked goblins had threatened to harm Margaret should the heroes return.
Cowards! All cowards! To steal an innocent woman!
A woman, anyway.
The new adventure had now taken a grave turn indeed. Wyvern flew away, leaving the heroes in the middle of a forbidding Dustland.
Those despicable savages! We have to find Margaret and the triplets.
No one mentioned your children. Chances are they're still safe.
What about this blistering heat? I'm boiling in my armor.
The Trine ran away. Why won't it come back and take us to Margaret?
But we're still under its spell, still glued together.
Chin up, we'll find her.
Poor Margaret. What horrors she must be enduring.
This place looks positively undiscovered. Promising. A ray of searing hot sunlight.
It must be focused through a glass lens or something.
The hero's attention was drawn to the mural in the back of the room.
Who's this here?
Goblins seem to have taken a fancy to it.
Some kind of goblin god?
Could be.
Charge!
Sneaked into the Dustland, intending to swipe anything that wasn't bolted down. There was little left in the tomb besides old cobwebs and bottles, but Zoya was not discouraged by this, for the ruins were vast and there was more to be seen.
Ladies first.
Oh, just when we were getting started.
Forgotten treasure east and west, only if you pass the test of wits, skill, and muscle power, bask underneath a treasure shower. shooting stars.
It's nice to be cool for a change. An earthquake!
How about we retreat for a change?
After the goblins had attacked the kingdom, the heroes of the Trine had been spirited away to a forbidding wasteland. The heroes' trek through the blistering desert had taken them out of the frying pan and into a digestive system. An enormous worm had emerged from underneath the treacherous sands and swallowed all of them alive. Luckily, the giant worm did not chew before swallowing, but to be plunged into the belly of a beast was quite discomforting nonetheless.
Trine! I demand you come to us this instant and take us away! They wouldn't have taken Margaret if it weren't for you!
Oh, we'll find a way out, don't worry! We've seen worse than this!
Yes, although we've never seen the insides of worse than this.
Just like you have your slime-slinging baby wormlings!
But Amadeus's voice could not carry very far. And even if it could, it was unlikely that the worm cared much for anything its lunch had to say.
That we're moving. It's like this worm is headed somewhere.
foretelling the doom of this oasis dwelling. First rebellion fires powers, then a giant worm devours. Tree and goblin in the land, till nothing here is left but sand. I spoke so unkindly of her, just mere moments before they took her. I'm a horrible person.
She wasn't exactly radiating love and comfort earlier.
She's very brave, my little darling, putting out that prickly, steely exterior in the face of danger.
Sure, like a regular Iron Maiden.
arrived at a pool of gastric acids. So the worm decided to get rid of the meddling lunch that had proved too much to swallow. Free of the clutches of the giant sandworm, Amadeus, Pontius, and Zoya sought to find a plan for what to do next.
Get on with it. We need to find Margaret. Who knows what's being done to her?
Amadeus suffered greatly as he pondered the fate of his wife in the hands of the goblins. With the Trine still missing, they would have to find Margaret on their own.
Fresh, cool air, at last!
King Reese now has a base on Cloudy Isles.
Why aren't we there? We're stuck here in the cold looking for stupid metal things.
Thanks for the great machine that will bring down the human towns. Wait! Who goes there?
If we could fly, we could make it to Cloudy Isles.
But we need to find Margaret, or they'll kill her.
We'd still move faster.
This sounds very suspicious to me. Flying without wings or magic, well, it just isn't natural. What's that rumbly sound?
I thought it was your belly.
What a lovely place.
Hang on.
a little chilly here.
Let's take a boat and sail away. Skyship, take us both astray. I want to show you seas on moon, and fly across the great lagoon. What else could I ever desire than fly with you high, then higher?
It's got metal wings.
Doesn't look exactly operational.
Not yet. Let's see if we can do something about that. Let's set the course towards the legendary Cloudy Isles. I've always wanted to see them.
Lying with engineering? This is just unnatural. What's going to stop us from falling to our deaths?
Oh, Margaret.
While the heroes were flying towards the Cloudy Isles, Wheeze's minions were quite concerned about a mysterious aura of light that had appeared out of nowhere. It was now shrouding the kidnapped Margaret, like the light of the ancient Crone Mother, who appeared on Earth to punish naughty goblins, according to old goblin legends.
Afraid of it? Who you are.
Everyone are, Kingy. What if it smites us?
It's a trick. Get over it. And the machine?
It is ready. It'll breach the town walls and the castle.
Good. Nothing can stop us now.
I told you I should have taken the wheel. How are we supposed to get back down now?
Let's worry about that after we've ended this Goblin Menace.
Best foot forward.
unless they wish to be fried.
Sweet music, open up your doors. In your gardens, let us rest. Brighten up our daily chores. Make the heavens ever blessed.
bells.
How nice. A little music. Passages.
Where's that blasted goblin?
Air travel!
Suddenly, an unexpected attack had blasted our heroes from the high skies. They clung to the air machine as it spiraled down towards the ground, where the wicked goblins were waiting for them to crash.
Go away, or I'll crush the woman.
You won't get the chance.
Margaret isn't even here.
But we are, and we're bringing down you and your infernal machine.
Ah! It was built to bring down cities, but we can start with you three.
Wheezy's goblin minions had been fearful of approaching Margaret. Whatever could be the reason?
I can't believe my eyes. Margaret, are you in there? Darling!
She has a striking resemblance to those goblin art pieces we saw along the way.
Has she become a goblin saint now? Saint angry?
Look up. The light isn't coming from the heavens.
Trine, you've been here all along, keeping Margaret safe. I'll never speak badly of you again.
So, Amadeus and Margaret were at last reunited. The crooked leader of the terrible goblin army defeated, all there was left to do was to find some well-earned rest.
Let's go home. My tummy is so rumbly, I couldn't hear the sound of battle over it.
And I want to be long gone before another adventure finds us.
I'm afraid of opening the bag.
Open it!
Such was the adventure with goblins and confusion. But now it ends with this conclusion. With no more trouble, danger, or fright, at last I can bid us all a good night.
According to this map, the Dwarven Caverns are this way.
What? You expect me to go down into some damp old cave? Why?
For adventure.
Ha! Zoya's playing tricks on us. There must be treasure down there.
And the ancient secret to Dwarven ale.
Is this quite safe? It said maximum 3 people.
One of us waved that.
It's my plate armor that's heavy.
The Academy unearthed the Trine and the other artifacts in Dwarven ruins.
The dwarves were up to all sorts of curious things. They also refined gold and platinum and mined precious gems.
And the ale is legendary. I smell something familiar. Piggies.
I think we're up against a fiendishly difficult dwarven smithing puzzle.
Come on, ain't secrets.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, it's full of books.
Books of magic and engineering.
Oh, what? None for cooking?
Would you believe it? Science was the dwarves' great treasure.
Looking for a fireball spell?
I'm just looking at the pictures. Maybe I'll find the Trine.
Oh, I think this lot belongs in a museum.
The Academy might even pay a nice reward for finding these.
Amadeus, you are a clever wizard after all.
You ever doubted that?